An Israeli-Hamas war scorecard on this December 14th, 2023. Hello, this is ChartGPT Today. We've all been watching on events on the ground in Gaza in the Israeli-Hamas war, and especially events in the UN. And there's been a recent vote by the UN Security Council. It was 13 to 1 and 1. That's 13 ceasefire resolution and 1 against and 1 abstention from the UK. So that is basically a veto because the UN Security Council, US has a veto on that, so it stands alone there. And here's kind of the readout as they went to the general population of the UN, and you can see here that it was 153 in favor of the ceasefire, 10 against, and 23 abstentions. You can take a look at some key countries there. Obviously Israel and US was against it. Austria was interesting, they was against it, and Chechnya was against it. So Guatemala, Libya, some of these are pretty small countries. So it's pretty much US and Israel against the world there. So we have a lot of work there to do to repair the international damage. Of course, on the events on the ground, I don't know when this photo was taken, but this is a picture of the Hamas leadership in Gaza in a tunnel. And what kind of struck me is they have a fan there, they have a nicely done walls. I mean, they're eating a nice meal there and having their meetings. So these guys are pretty well organized in the tunnels there. Of course, Israel is about ready to pump the seawater into these tunnels to flood them out. So again, I don't know when that photo was taken of this Hamas leadership. It's quite a fancy, relative to the situation, and rather a fancy get-up for the leadership to have a nice painted room like that. In any case, look at the Euromed Monitor, which is a human rights group. Some people think they're a little bit over the top, but maybe not. And it concludes 24,000 people have been killed. Now they count the people under the rubble that have not been accounted for yet. 48,000 casualties there, so that's injuries. And so they're saying that perhaps 81 journalists have been killed. Reports vary between 100 and 150 IDF soldiers have been killed. I don't know how accurate that is. Anyway, just about every building, 1.8 million people have been displaced. So we have 2.2 to 3 million people there. Close to, there's a lot of buildings been damaged, so it kind of gives you a scorecard. You can kind of read it there. Of course, that changes. That's on day 66, so that's a little bit old, but they update that from now and from time to time. You'd have to check out on Twitter to look up Euromed Monitor for that. Some have a little bit lower than that, maybe 10-20% lower than that, but so maybe this is the guide. In the meantime, Biden was meeting Zelensky because he's trying to stay relevant, trying to ask for more money. But the key thing on the takeaway from the Biden-Zelensky was that they changed the wording from whatever it takes to whatever we can, indicating that a lot of the materials are going to go to Israel for the Israel-Hamas conflict. You know, and all these Arab leaders, and this is just opinion by some people, that all these Arab leaders, and whether they be in Cairo, Amman, Jordan, Ankara, Turkey, even in Tehran and Iran, they all talk about how they're going to support Gaza and the Palestinians, but so far none of them has been willing to act, and I suspect they won't, because their interests won't want to have a war. However, if the people rise up and get rid of some of the leaders, because the people on the ground are fit to be tied, so how long can the Arab leaders hold back before a wider war? That's the question. We asked the AI, well, what important does these meetings at the White House make? And take a look at read out on what the AI said, how important these kind of meetings are, and take our online poll. Will the Israeli-Hamas war grow into a wider regional conflict or not? Don't forget to subscribe.